Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name's David, and thanks for tuning in today. We are eternal creators. That's what we do. And there's a lot of talk about, are we creating? Is this law of attraction? Is this what we need to work on? This idea of getting our life where we want it to be, and get the things and bring in all the stuff, or bring in the journey. This is something that I hear a lot, especially with my clients, even with my own self. The idea of, what are we supposed to do? Are we here to create? Are we here to try to bring in all the things that we want and have the life that we really, really enjoy? Or are we here to detach from life? Are we here to just meditate and relax and just be pure consciousness? There's a lot of different schools of thought on all of this, isn't there? I'm sure you guys have heard all of this. From my perspective, it's a little bit of both. See, I think what happened is trying to create, I do believe absolutely we are eternal creators, and that's what this video is about. We are here to create. But creation is very difficult when we give so much credence to our creations and make them more important than us. Does that make sense? So if you go to bed at night and have a dream, you can dream all kinds of things. You can dream yourself in places that are uncomfortable. You can dream yourself into a place that's very comfortable. You can dream of different people and different experiences. But within that dream, if there are more important people, let's say there are people you look up to, or people that are smarter in your dream, or maybe some famous people, we're hanging out with the famous people in our dream, or places, or anything. When you wake up, the first thought is, that came from me. That's me. In other words, there was nothing in the dream that was more important than you. Does that make sense? Because it came from you. You were all of those people. You were all of those places. There's a feeling of getting that idea going, wow, that was me. And if it was an amazing dream, just maybe for that second, you feel that empowerment. Wow, that's me. Look what I did. Look what I created. And see, the key to understand is that's the same thing here. Is where we get stuck is we forget we're the center of our life. That there's nothing more important than us. Nothing. In fact, we give everything its importance. So you could be watching your favorite movie and going crazy over that actor, but the reality is that you are creating that actor, and you're giving it or them all the importance. There is nothing outside of you that is more important than you, than me, than I. Do you see? And I think this is where it gets stuck, is we tend to look at our creations and make them bigger than ourselves. So now we feel like we're missing something. My creation is bigger than me, so now I need to make up and try to get something about myself so I can finally be big, so to speak. I call it the small person syndrome. We feel smaller. We make our body bigger than us. How many conversations do we put things on the body? Well, the body's doing this, and when the body does this, I feel this way. When the body does this, I feel this way. Can you see that? It's just like looking out there, seeing something, someone. I mean, we have tons of things out in the news, how important people, important situations, and they seem bigger than us. But can I convince you that that is just like your dream, that you're giving everything all its importance, and that you are the center, and there's nothing more important than you, than you, than you, than you, each one of us. Man, you have to really sit with that concept. I am the center. They are not. They are not the center of your life. They are the center of their life. And yes, we are all in these different lives, different situations, if you can imagine, different worlds, different experiences. It's not one world with a bunch of people and some more important than others. It's all of us in our own individual world. And every single person and every single thing is our creation. We are eternal creators, down to one rock on the ground and down to the most important person at the highest level in this planet. I don't care if it's a CEO, I don't care if it's a billionaire, it doesn't matter. It's your creation. And you can make them bigger than you, or you can make them equal to you. Of course, you can make them smaller than you, but that's not going to feel good either. So now we know our ultimate goal is to create equality. Equality is everything. Because if you can create equality within your creations, then now you can turn on synchronicity. But as long as there is any kind of comparison, which is what gets us every single time. Every time I talk to my clients, what is it that gets you? What is it that brings you down? You're high flying, and then all of a sudden, brrr, you come down. What is it? And they say, well, it's the you. Yes, it is. It's the you. The me, the I, well, okay, I'm doing well. And all of a sudden there's a you involved. And boy, it brings us down in the quicksand. And that is because we are giving them way too much credence, way too much power, seeing them bigger than us, seeing them with more than us, seeing them with more important than us. Does that make sense? You see? And then our center feels limited. We feel limited. But it's your journey. It's your life. It's your movie. You have to really, until this hammers in, until you can really look out in the world and say, my God, you're right. I'm creating all of this. It's all coming from within me. Me, my point of consciousness, which, by the way, guys, nobody shares. Anywhere, everywhere. It's your point of consciousness. Yes, we are all one consciousness, but we are also many, 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 many different perspectives of that one consciousness. That means you have your own point of consciousness. And even if you shared it with everybody, you would still see it in your individual way. This is why you are indeed God individuated. There is an individual part of you and a collective part of you. But your individual part of us is where we have the issue, because we forget that everything is our creation and we're giving it all power. And we have the ability to give it our power outside of us. As Yeshua talks about in the Way of Mastery, it says that at some point we started giving our power to something outside of us. Now, when did that happen? Well, let's see. When we were kids, very small, we inherited the idea that we can make mistakes. Do you remember that? When you got grades that didn't work and your parents got upset, or the teachers told you that you need to work harder, or maybe even the students and the friends that you hung out with, we would get jealous of because they tend to have more than us, and so forth and so on. So we created this ideology early on that we're small and that everything outside of us is bigger than us. Now, what we didn't understand is what we came here with, the reality. The truth is you are the cause and your world is your effect. That's how you're interlinked. That's probably the best way that I've learned to understand it. I am the cause. Every single thing is my effect. That's why there's nothing more important than me. And that we have been taught not to say that. Dave, you're being cocky. No, I'm being truthful. Because until I understand that I am the cause of every single thing in my life and I get to decide what anything and everything is, and everything is my effect, then I'm going to believe that everything else is the cause. And guess what? I am the effect. Does that make sense? And we were taught early on that we were the effect of the world. That I am the effect and that the world is the cause. Because when they came back and said, you made mistakes and you made mistakes and you have failed and you've done this. If you look back at anything in your life, I guarantee you, anything that makes you feel negative emotion when it comes to the me and you, right? The relationships that we have, you'll see that it's reminding you, even your pain in your body, everything is always reminding us of where we made mistakes, where we have indeed failed. That's why we focus upon it and say, how can I figure it out? And how can I control it? I don't want to feel this feeling of failure. And that's what we inherited a long time ago. You did wrong. You should have done it this way, and I would have done this way. They didn't mean to. That's just the way that the universe, this planet, so to speak, from a collective works. It says people are more important, that there are comparisons, and that there's competition between each one of us, like we're all in one world. But how do you compete from your own world? How do you compete in your own dream when you're creating everybody in it? Does that make sense? So that way doesn't work, and that's what we have to let go of. The idea that there is any competition, comparison. I don't like this person, but I like this person, but I don't like this person, but I like that person. And yet all of them are coming from you. Walking around the dream going, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. And then you wake up and go, my God, I got fooled on that one, didn't I? They're all me. What's wrong? And we've heard this idea, everything's me, but it's hard to understand. But hopefully this will help clear it up. Because the reality is that you are the cause of everything in your life, and everything is an effect. Now I get that we do cause, or we bring in effects that we don't always like. But we're the cause. We can change it. And that's what all of this is learning how to change the effects that we are judging and then creating and bringing back to us on a regular basis in order to experience. Cause and effect. Or you can make the world your cause and you can become an effect. Now that's where things like Yeshua and the Way of Mastery and the Course in Miracles and Abraham Hicks come in. They help us understand what we've done, that we have created ourselves into limitation and made ourselves the effect of the world, and the world is now the cause. And then they help us remember who we are. And you hear this all the time. I am pure consciousness. And I do this meditation where I just let go of everything. Remember who I am and feel the strength and feel the power and feel the love and feel the abundance. Because that's important. We got to get into that flow state. We got to get into that ease state. We got to find a way to get back to our inner being, back to who we are, back to the collective, the true collective self that we are. So that way we can then realize that we are the effect of that part of us. Does that make sense? So your inner being, God, that's fine too. It doesn't matter, whatever gives you less resistance. But that collective self, the I am, the true I that we all belong to, is of no resistance and love. There's no bad. There is no ending. There's only eternal flow, eternal flow, eternal flow. So therefore, the collective of all that we are is indeed love. So we are the effect of that love. We did not create ourselves. So we hook into it, and now we are the effect of that love. From that effect of love, which that's what they're trying to help us understand, is remember who you are, remember who you are. That's the idea of, going into meditation. That's the idea of just being consciousness and being the witness we hear so much and so forth and so on. You are the effect of love. You can only be love. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot fail. You cannot be the effect of the world. You are the effect of perfection. Now, from that place of being an effect of love, you will now become the cause, and your creations become your effect. So indeed, we can forget that we are the effect of love and change our cause. But as we change our cause from love to fear, we separate from that collective. Does that make sense? And that's what negative emotion is. Now I've become a cause of fear. Why? Because when I was younger, I realized things were coming at me and people were telling me I was doing wrong, and I started fighting them. And I started pushing against them. I started worrying about them. I started trying to control things because I didn't like that feel. Does that make sense? This is where we have inherited. When you realize that you're walking around your life most of the time defending yourself from life through judgment or worry or fear or doubt, that's what defense is, then you'll realize indeed that you have made or realize or believe that the world is your cause and you are the effect. Everything is connected. It has to be cause and effect. There's no separation. From that perspective, you find the collective of who you are again to find out and realize who I am. And you change the cause from within. That's the spiritual journey. Change the cause from within. As you change the cause, then now the world will magically switch and change. You won't see it as dangerous. You won't worry about things. You'll send love to your pain. Everything that seems to be pushing against you, you now embrace and love and appreciate, because you know now you are indeed the cause, and it's all coming from within. Just like the dream, you just don't give it any more credence because you realize it's coming from you. You are the most important thing in your life. That's why they say you've got to love yourself. Self-love, self-love. I've got to love me. I need to love me. The more you love you, you decide to love you, the more you will surrender to the collective of all that you are and receive that back. Because we need to get back to the self. We need to get back to the consciousness that we are. Many ways to get back there, right? But as we learn to get back there by understanding that we have become the effect of the world, and now we need to become the effect of who we are, we need to get back into the cause. Who am I really? When you wake up from that dream and all that crazy stuff, do you believe that's you? Or do you say, whoa, what a crazy dream that was. I think I know who I am. Okay, I'm not going to just change everything about me because of one dream. And that's kind of what happened. Long time ago, someone changed everything about us and made us very defensive to our life. Made us feel like we had to work and we had to effort and we had to worry and we had to fear and we had to fight. And it's not true. And now it's time, as they say, to wake up, to realize that they didn't mean to, but it wasn't true. I, each one of us, am the cause of my own creations. And everything outside of me, from every single person, is the effect of me. This is why you cannot look at somebody, I don't care what they possess, what they do, and not see yourself. You created them. It's your effect. Does that make sense? Woo! That's a lot to sit with, huh? So sit with that. Sit with that. Sit with that feeling. See how it feels. And find your way. This is all about finding your way back to who you are first and foremost, so you can find your peace. From that peace, you can change your world. But first, we have to understand how we switched. That way we can let that go. Once you really get this, you will just let it go. I hope this helps. Thank you guys very much for following along. And as always, what you receive is up to you. It needs to be calling you. This is our journey together. I thank you for that. If you need to get in contact with me in a more one-on-one way, you can always contact me at my email, thewayofkungfu75@gmail.com. And like this video and subscribe. And as always, my unconditional love and appreciation.